Hi everyone, it's time for another month of Paletteful Packs. This is the premiere box for May, and I will have all the information down below, including a link if you want to purchase yourself one as well, and then you get a little discount off your box. So let's just jump right into this month's box. And the first thing that I see right off the bat, and yes, I did get rid of all those little paper things. I just find they get so messy, so I get rid of them before I open the box. But we have this cute little sticker for this month's box, and it says Paletteful Packs, and it is a cute little paintbrush, and I think that is adorable. So I like that. Now, the next thing I see is this. You know what, let's do this one because I just want to get right into the paint for this month. And this is the Autumn Chiu, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And these are Peerless Transparent Watercolors. And what these are is like watercolor on paper or something. And it comes with 30. And it says that all of the dry sheet swatches in this set are approximately 2 by 2 inches. Each swatch is labeled for your convenience. All of the Peerless watercolor paints are handmade in Wisconsin, using the same process as they used in 1885, and they retail for about $25 US. So that is interesting. So these are the paint swatches. So this side has the paint on it, and then if you flip it over, this side has the information and what the actual pigment should look like. So if we take like this one, for example, this is Mountain Green, but if you flip it over, like the color is very different from what the back is. So that's kind of interesting. So these are the colors that come in with, well, actually it might be easier just to show you this. So this is sort of all the colors that it comes in. And it says they're transparent watercolors. This is Nicholson's Peerless Transparent Watercolors. They were developed in 1885 by Charles F. Nicholson. After many years of revolutionary chemical research, he developed self-blending paint in sheet form. The formula he created for his special watercolors has never changed. Over the past 125 years, the same process is used in the creation of watercolors. So that's pretty cool. And then it just says he can be found, or Autumn Chiu, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, I apologize, but her work can be found on Instagram at ArtChiu, so ARTCHIU. So I'm assuming that's maybe the artist. I think she had picked out these 30 colors for this box, so that's pretty cool. So those are the colors there. Then I see we got this Uniball Gel Pen in white, and it says that this retails for $3.59, and it's just your standard gel pen. So that's pretty cool because, I mean, you can't really have enough white gel pens if you like to use these for highlights over top of your work. Then we got this Marabou Fluid Arts brush pack, and it looks like we have 3 sizes, and this brush pack retails for $9.99. Oops, just ripping it right apart. Oh, they don't want to come out. Okay, so it looks like we have a small flat one, and let's see. These caps are pretty easy to get off, and so with these, all you do is just twist them, and you put water in here, and it looks like this has a little stopper too, so if you have it upside down, the water's not gonna just pour out of the brush. So typically you put the water in here, you put it back together, and then you squeeze this to get some water to go out. So that's pretty cool because some brush pens like this don't have that little stopper in there. And so every time you go like this, the water just kind of leaks out. And the bristles feel fairly stiff, so that's good for that type of brush. And then it looks like we get sort of a, I would kind of say these are both smallish brushes, but sort of like a medium small brush and a very small brush. Or not small, I should say, like, I guess technically small, but this one looks pretty small as well. Let's compare it to, so this is my medium, and I've got water in here already. This was just a cheap brush that I got off Amazon, and it's just slightly bigger than this one, I would say. So I guess we could call this kind of a medium brush pen. And I love these. I use these a lot when I'm using my watercolor pencils, or if I just want a small area to blend out. I really like these for that. And the last thing I see here is this, let's see if I can get it out of the box, is this Canson watercolor paper. Now this is just regular cellulose paper. It's not cotton paper or anything like that, but this is, you know, okay paper. I've used it for a few things, and we get 30 sheets in this, and it is cold pressed. But as you can see, the texture is still, oh, I've got dust from those like little things, those little paper things all over my hands now. And that's why I get rid of them, because it just gets dusty stuff everywhere. But the texture is pretty smooth still for a cold pressed paper. So this will be nice to try out. So that's everything that we got in the box this month. I'm either going to do some swatches and I'll come back and show you that, or I might just jump right into a piece of artwork. We'll see what I decide to do, but I will be back with one of those. So this is what all the swatches looked like, and I am using the Canson paper that we received in the box this month. So the only downside I have to say is once you do the swatches, you have to leave the cards like laying upside like this so that it dries, because if you put them all together, it's just going to transfer the paint. So that's the only downside, really. You have to have enough space depending on how many cards you're using to have them lay around. So let's just get right into the artwork. Okay, so I have mixed feelings with these paints. On the one hand, these paints are beautiful. They're very vibrant, but on this paper, these paints just don't work. They're so vibrant that once you put the paint down, it just doesn't blend out very nicely. The paper dries so fast that it's hard to get the paints to blend themselves. So you're going to see the first one I'm trying to do is like this ocean landscape, because one of the prompts was Seascape. And I'm not a landscape artist, but I thought I'd give this a try anyway. And I got the sky to blend okay, but when I tried to go into the water and do like a wet on wet technique, I find the paints was just either like areas was drying too fast. So I had to like sort of re-wet areas, and then that area would look different than the area before I was working on. So it was just really hard to get it to look the way that I wanted to. So then I started to just have fun with it and just put some color down. And then I took the white Uni-Ball pen and tried to go over top and do some highlights. So where the light would have been coming down the middle of the water, I tried to go over and do some highlights there where I had put the yellow down at first. And so for that first landscape, the colors I'm using were Flaxen Hair, which is sort of like a lemon yellow, Forget Me Not, which is a nice bright light blue, Dark Spur Blue, and Jane's Gray. And I think out of all of this, my favorite color was probably Jane's Gray, because it was just a really nice dark blue. So I used that for my darkest areas. So then I decided to go on and do another piece, and one of the other prompts was butterflies. So I decided to draw out some butterflies onto the paper and give that a try. And the first one you see me doing, I tried doing it just putting the paint on and trying to blend the paint into itself. and that was kind of a nightmare. It just wouldn't blend on this paper. It was worse than doing wet on wet. So you'll see for all the other butterflies, I started to put water down first and then put the lightest color and then the darkest color around the edges of the wing. And then I would go in with just a damp brush. So I would get all the color out of my brush and get just a damp brush and then sort of try to blend the color that way, because on its own it just wasn't blending. And I did make a mistake with the magenta and purple butterfly at first. I put the lighter color on the outside of the wings and the darker color on the inside, and then I ended up redrawing another butterfly after, and I did that one properly, but I find just that one butterfly in the middle of the piece, no less, just kind of stands out and looks pretty ugly, but it is what it is. So for these colors, I ended up using flaxen hair for the light color, and the green was Robin's egg blue, I think that was the green. Yes, it was. And for the red and the yellow one, I did deep yellow and japonica scarlet. And I was trying to blend them to sort of make like an orange, because I wanted an orange and a yellow, but I couldn't get them to mix so well on the paper. The blues were the Forget-Me-Not blue and Dark Spur blue. And the magenta one was obviously the magenta and heliotrope, which was a beautiful purple. And after, I decided to just have some fun. So you're going to see me taking the same colors that I used in the piece and kind of splashing them on the paper. So I do some little dabs where I take the brush, like a clean brush, and hit it against my brush that I have paint and water on. And I create some little splashes on the paper. And then afterwards, I try to go on and create some big splashes. So what I'm doing is getting some of that color on my brush, and I'm just getting a lot of water, and you see me just dipping into the water constantly because I want to make these big droplets to sort of make it look fun and dramatic. And I actually really like how that turned out. So I may incorporate that into some of my pieces in the future, because I feel like it just adds some fun to the piece and some dramatic with the droplets, the water droplets. So that was pretty cool to do. But overall, to try to do a piece on this Canson paper, I just find it's not my favorite. I do like Arches paper. Can it be done? Yes, absolutely, but you're going to have to really change your techniques up. Overall, I did enjoy these paints. I noticed though, after just doing these two projects, a lot of the paint was gone off the back of it. So I had to keep going in with more water and more water. And another thing you notice, I'll have my paints on top of like a little palette here. And that's because as you're adding water to the paper, the color just seeps through. So I was noticing that the color was seeping through onto my desktop at first. And so I had to put a palette under them just to catch that watercolor coming through, which isn't a big deal because it can be wiped up, but depending what surface you're on, I mean, if it's not easily wiped down, then that could be a problem. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Overall, I did have fun using these paints, and I may pull some of them out in the future to try on my Arches paper just to see how that goes. So if you want to see me redo either the Seascape or the butterflies using Arches paper, let me know down in the comments below and I can do that, and then we can always compare the difference between the two. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing and liking the video, and hit the notification button so you know when I post my videos. But as always, I will see you in the next one.